The life of Georgi and Varvara's family was bustling in the new townhouse, like in a real movie. Georgi, a true magician of massage, worked wonders for his clients, as if the magical touches of his hands left behind a whirlwind of delight. People didn't just appreciate his talent, they simply fell in love with Jorik, leaving tips and coming back again and again. Varvara, shining like a star, not only supported her husband in this magical art, but also happily welcomed his clients into their home. They and Jorik were like a team of superheroes, effortlessly creating a magical atmosphere where everyone felt special. But then came the day that changed everything. Daria. Varvara's mother brought a touch of drama to this idealistic scenario. She arrived with heartbreaking news. A friend with whom she shared her life had thrown her and little Chad out onto the street. The money had disappeared, and the chances of returning to her ex-husband were zero. He already had a new life and a new love. Despite the surging emotions and anger towards her mother, Varvara could not leave her to fend for herself, especially with her little brother. She suggested Jorik discuss the situation. Jora, despite his shortcomings in everyday relations with Varvara, stood up for his wife's mother. Thus, an incredible story began. Despite the misunderstandings in their relationship, the family of Georgi and Varvara decided to take on the challenge of fate and provide housing for Varvara's mother, but with the condition to resolve housing issues in the near future. In this exciting moment when changes occurred in the home of Georgi and Varvara, a lot of effort had to be put in. There were no free rooms available, so it was necessary to get creative. It was decided to turn the children's room into temporary housing for Daria and her son. They bought a bed and everything necessary to create a cozy atmosphere, while Varvara's little girl temporarily moved into the bedroom with her parents. Although Daria was grateful for her daughter's hospitality, beneath her outward joy, there was a sadness hidden in her soul. Who could have foreseen that her friend would kick her out of the house? Everything seemed so wonderful and harmonious. Meanwhile, in another part of this incredible house, Anatoly was thrilled with his new dwelling. It was all thanks to the girls to whom he rented the rooms. The house was filled with coziness. It was always clean, and there were constantly many delicious treats prepared. Anatoly decided that it was time to pay more attention to one of the girls, especially considering the good compatibility with Suwani. "Did you say something about my mom?" And so, gathering his courage, he decided to get to know her better. They chatted pleasantly, getting into a conversation that might become the beginning of something new and exciting. Throughout the day, Anatoly did nothing but have fun with his neighbors. They either swam in the pool or chatted, enjoying the atmosphere of luxury and coziness. Finally, at the sunset of his life, Anatoly felt happiness blooming in his heart. His wallet was filled with money flowing in from the restaurant business, and his house became a place where every corner was filled with magic, as if it were pages from a fairy tale. However, amidst all this splendor, he still lacked one thing: sincere, passionate love. With each passing day, the bonds between Anatoly and Suwani grew stronger, like unseen threads weaving their fates together. And in some magical moment, Anatoly made the decision to turn his feelings into actions. He began to flirt virtuously, gently kissing her hands, and she did not reject his caresses in response. Then, boldly overcoming his doubts, he decided to go for the first kiss. How magical it was for Anatoly. He hadn't felt such warmth and excitement from the touches of feminine beauty in a long time. After such events, Anatoly took a refreshing shower to collect himself. And by dawn the next day, he invited Suwani for a walk. They wandered along the waterfront, immersed in the atmosphere of moments spent together. They couldn't help but talk, for before them was a whole world, full of stories they wanted to share with each other. In the pauses between words, they exchanged caresses, kissed, and embraced. In that magical moment, Anatoly felt like the happiest person in the whole wide world. Daria, immersed in the whirlpool of everyday concerns, realized a professional path. An idea began to form in her mind to become a critic, as she had an exceptional talent for finding flaws and highlighting merits. This profession would provide her not only with the opportunity for creative self-expression, but also with a flexible schedule. which has become an undeniable advantage for Daria. After all, she has a small child growing up, and the opportunity to work from home has become a true gift of fate for her. Dark clouds began to gather between Jorah and Varvara, creating a gloomy atmosphere of misunderstanding and tension. Their relationship was sinking into an abyss of misunderstanding, like two people lost in different worlds. The misunderstanding became a poison that slowly but surely penetrated every aspect of their interaction. The quarrels indeed sounded like a failed symphony, where each note was soaked in misunderstanding and disappointment. Instead of unity and mutual understanding, they faced an overwhelming whirlwind of troubles and challenges that deepened the rift between them. One magical evening, Daria awoke to a strange and persistent desire to bring Oleg back into her life. Shailushai, Shailushai, come back. She came up with a bold plan: to break into his house when no one is there and set up a real surprise for him by leaving a gift, hoping that he would appreciate it. She imagined how Oleg would open the door and his eyes would sparkle with surprise and joy. But days went by and there was no reaction from Oleg. Meanwhile, Daria was improving her writing skills, which she needed for work. It was difficult for her to study as her son would cry from time to time, and she had to distract herself and calm him down. One day, a friend stopped by to clarify the misunderstanding with Daria. She admitted that Daria misunderstood and that there was no desire to evict her from the house. As a gesture of reconciliation, she offered Daria to come back, but Daria's response was firm. She is doing well and does not intend to return. She even added that her relationship with Varvara is gradually improving, and her main goal is to restore the family union that was once broken. It was time to think about her first working day, and Daria decided to make some changes to her appearance. She decided to change her hairstyle and choose a stylish outfit, as first impressions play an important role. On that day, Varvara took care of her younger brother, and Georgi provided support by watching over his daughter. Daria's first working day turned out to be not just successful, but simply magnificent. She even received a promotion. And as soon as she returned home, it turned out that it was her son's birthday. The boy had grown up, just like Varvara's daughter, and it was also Dima's birthday. And on that day, Daria decided to attend her son's birthday party to congratulate him. Dima was very happy to see his mother, and Daria, despite all the difficulties, was able to bring him joy. After the congratulations, Daria was ready to say goodbye, but Dima suggested that she stay and enjoy a piece of cake to spend the evening together as a family, mom, dad, and him. Although Daria initially doubted that Oleg would agree, she could not refuse her son. They had a wonderful time together. However, after such a pleasant evening, Oleg suddenly felt a strange sensation. He decided to break up with his current girlfriend, realizing that he does not love her and that this entire period was just an attempt to replace Daria. After a sleepless night spent contemplating his feelings, he decided to invite Yosif and announce the breakup. However, when she arrived, he looked her in the eyes and the words got stuck in his throat. Finding himself at a dead end, Oleg was unable to express his feelings, and they simply spent time together without mentioning the breakup. By the way, Yusia easily found common ground with Oleg's son. They spent their time joyfully and cheerfully, chatting about things and creating a warm atmosphere. After time, Oleg decided to be alone with the girl to clarify his feelings. Oleg spent time with Yosia, and when she left, he dedicated his time to his son. In a conversation with Dima, he decided to raise the question of whether the boy would mind if Yosia lived with them. Dima, of course, expressed a preference for having their mom with them, but he also replied that Yosia is a good person and he doesn't mind. This made Oleg think even more deeply about his decisions. Oleg needs a computer for work, and Dima has grown up. He also needs one for his studies. Therefore, it was decided to equip the empty room as a gaming room, where they set up a computer and a large plasma screen. As a result, the room turned out to be very bright and pleasant for spending time on games and studying. But while Oleg was improving his programming skills, something terrible happened. Anatoly's lady drowned, and then the second girl followed. They were seized by a cramp from the cold, and no one could help them. Anatoly was engulfed by grief. Hurricane emotions raged within his soul. Once again, death was taking away his loved ones one after another. He had faced this merciless loss too often. Friends and loved ones gathered around, striving to support and comfort old man. Trying to distract himself, Anatoly realized that this loss had left an irreplaceable sadness in his soul. Slightly. Deciding that it was no longer worth subjecting his soul to the pain of romantic losses, he chose to dedicate his life to children. In his heart, there was a reserve of love that he decided to share with the children from the orphanage who were left without a father's warmth. Began a new chapter in his life. Anatoly chose a boy to take the first step towards his decision. That evening, while they were spending time in the yard, a homeless puppy joined them. The boy and the dog became indeed inseparable friends, and Anatoly gladly agreed to take in the dog. He entrusted the boy with taking care of his new friend, but said that he would always be ready to offer advice on how to care for it. Happiness illuminated the boy. He had a home, a caring father, and a loyal dog. Anatoly certainly created a cozy room for the boy by setting up a bunk bed. After all, he planned to take in more children. In addition, he equipped another room where he wanted to shelter girls in the future. The dogs were also provided with everything necessary, a bed and an automatic feeder. The dog and the boy became very inseparable friends, spending their days happily playing in the yard. By the way, indeed, the boy became friends with Dima, and together they had a great time playing hopscotch. Daria continued on the path of recovery, regularly and consistently visiting her son. They talked and discussed school matters, and she gave him her maternal care and warmth, helping with homework. Questions remain in the air regarding the projects. At the moment when Oleg was at work, he returned and, surprisingly, decided to join them. And together they were able to create a true family atmosphere. Questions remain in the air. September brings the question, who will Oleg ultimately stay with? What will happen to Anatoly's plan to adopt more children? What will be the outcome for Varvara and Georgi? And how much time will they spend together? The mysteries of the future leave us in suspense, creating intrigue in this amazing story. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave your comment, and also subscribe to my Telegram channel. Bye bye everyone.